ಜನನೀಂ ಶಾರದಾಂ ದೇವೀಂ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣಂ ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಂ ಪಾದಪದ್ಮೇ ತಯೋ ಶ್ರಿತ್ವಾ ಪ್ರಣಮಾಮಿ ಮುಹುರ್ಮುಹುಃ. ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಭಕ್ತರೇ, ಇಂದು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಂದಜಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರು ಇವತ್ತು ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಪಾಶ್ಚಾತ್ಯ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಾಂತದ ಭಾವನೆ ಎಂಬ ವಿಷಯವಾಗಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಚಿರಪರಿಚಿತರು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವರನ್ನು ಸಂಕ್ಷಿಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರನ್ನು ಸಂಕ್ಷಿಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು 1988ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರದಾ ಪೀಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದರು. 1984ರಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಪೂಜ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಭೂತೇಶಾನಂದಜಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್ ಅವರಿಂದ ಮಂತ್ರದೀಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದು 1986ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂತ್ರದೀಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದರು. 94ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯ ದೀಕ್ಷೆ ಹಾಗೂ 98ರಲ್ಲಿ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿ ದೀಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನು ಅವರಿಂದ ಪಡೆದರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಮಠ ಹಲಸೂರು ಹಾಗೂ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಸಂಘದ ಹಿರಿಯ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಒಡನಾಟ ಇತ್ತು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯರಾದರು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಸೋಮನಾಥಂಜಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್, ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಸುರೇಶಾಂಜಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್, ಜಗದಾತ್ಮಂಜಿ, ಚಿದಾನಂದಜಿ, ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮಾಂಜಿ, ದಯಾತ್ಮಾಂಜಿ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು 1994ರಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ತರಬೇತಿ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಂಟರನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸಿದ ನಂತರ ಅವರನ್ನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ವರ್ಗಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ 98ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಆಶ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರನ್ನು ವರ್ಗಾಯಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು 2004ರಿಂದ 2007ರವರೆಗೂ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾಸಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯಾದ ವಿವೇಕ ಪ್ರಭದ ಸಂಪಾದಕರಾಗಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಪರಮಪೂಜ್ಯ ಗೌತಮಾಂಜಿ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಿಯುಕ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದ್ವೈತ ಆಶ್ರಮದ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಮುಖ್ಯಸ್ಥರನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರನ್ನು ಮೈಸೂರು ಆಶ್ರಮದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಚಂಡೀಗಢದ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಈಗ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಬ್ರೆಜಿಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರಿಯೋ ಡಿ ಜನೇರಿಯೋ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಬೆಂಗಾಳಿ, ಹಿಂದಿ, ತಮಿಳು, ತೆಲುಗು ಅನೇಕ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಲಲಿತವಾಗಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಬಲ್ಲರು, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಡಬಲ್ಲರು ಕೂಡ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯ. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಈ ದಿನದ ಈ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಪಾಶ್ಚಾತ್ಯ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಾಂತದ ಭಾವನೆ ಈ ವಿಷಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಕ್ತರನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಮಾತನಾಡಬೇಕೆಂದು ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರನ್ನು ಕೋರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೋರುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಜೈ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ.
ಓಂ ಸಹನಾ ಭವತು ಸಹನೌ ಭುನಕ್ತು ಸಹ ವೀರ್ಯಂ ಕರವಾವಹೈ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿನಾವಧೀತಮಸ್ತು ಮಾ ವಿದ್ವಿಷಾವಹೈ. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ. ಓಂ ಅಸತೋ ಮಾ ಸದ್ಗಮಯ ತಮಸೋ ಮಾ ಜ್ಯೋತಿರ್ಗಮಯ ಮೃತ್ಯೋರ್ಮಾಮೃತಂಗಮಯ. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ. I convey my devoted pranams to revered Swami Atmajnanandaji Maharaj, revered Swami Nityasthanji Maharaj, the President of Ramakrishna Math, Bengaluru, to my brother monks and namaskars to the devotees. Maharaj has told me to speak in English, so I'll be speaking in English on Vedanta in the West, mainly as I have understood its influence in Brazil. Vedanta in the West would be a very big topic because the spread of Vedanta in America has been well acclaimed, whereas in South America it is still in its nascent stage. The movement or the spread of Vedanta in South America started with the popularity of Swami Vivekananda in North America. When Swami Vivekananda gave the world famous Parliament of Religions talk in 1893, his talks and his popularity in the American circle was reported widely in the papers, newspapers in Argentina and Brazil. So interested groups started reading about Swami Vivekananda. They started discussing about the ideas that Swami Vivekananda used to speak about, and they adopted in Rio, a society was formed. Society which consisted of evangelicals, Christians, but they adopted Swami Vivekananda as one of their patrons. They had 5 leaders, all the others were Christians, but Swamiji was adopted as a patron, a model to be emulated, a model to be followed. So Swami Vivekananda's influence was very deep in Argentina and Brazil at that time, in the 1890s. Later, this study group in Argentina and Brazil became more organized. They started discussing Vedanta. They used to procure books about Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. Books were not easily available. Books were available in English, but in South America, other than Brazil, all other countries speak Spanish or Espanol, as it is called. And only Brazil speaks Portuguese. The Portugal and Spanish kings were friends. So when Portuguese came and invaded, they came first to South America. They were searching for India, for the spices, and landed in South America. They thought that was India, and they called the people who were there Indians. And only then, later on, they came to know that this is not India. The local aboriginals or the indigenous people are still called Indians. In North America, they are called Red Indians. Here in South, they are called Indians. And the Portuguese slowly started occupying their land. They first came to Brazil in 1500. Human settlement in South America is approximately around 6,000 years back, before. Okay. So the migration of humans from Africa started. One migration happened to India, and then went down to India, from India to Andamans, and then to Australia, all these areas. It came down this way. And another group went up into China and then Mongolia and entered Alaska. It was the ice ages in those times. Asia was connected to North America through the ice bridges. And they moved into Alaska, came to North America, and then down into South America. It took thousands of years. So the archaeological evidence proves that there were humans around 6,000 years ago, from around 6,000 years ago in Southern America. You must have heard of the famous Mayan and Inca civilizations. So it was a vibrant tribal culture, There were kings, they had huge palaces, they had huge settlements, but all that is destroyed now. The Portuguese, when they came, these two groups were there. There were two tribal groups in Brazil. The Portuguese, in order to occupy their land and make it into a colony, they favored one group, became close to one group, and made this group fight with the other group. They created a war situation. This group attacked the other group and killed all of them. As soon as those people were killed, the Portuguese killed these people who had helped them. So this was the cruel way in which they occupied them. And they forced Christianity on them with evangelical zeal, and anybody who did not convert was either killed or banished. Some people escaped and went and settled in the Amazons here and there, which was not reachable for these people, the invaders. So they forced Christianity and Portuguese language on them. They had some indigenous languages. They are still there in very small parts to very few people with whom there is no contact with the civilized world. They are somewhere in the Amazons here and there. They are a protected race. People from the cities cannot interact with them because of the infections that can come to them. Like you have the Jaravas in the Andamans, similarly. So these people had some languages called Tupi and other things. They had religious practices also. They had their gods, they had their religious customs, traditions, but unfortunately, because of this cultural invasion, nothing is known. We don't know anything about their religious practices or traditions, what knowledge they had. Everything is lost with the people who were changed or killed. So now, the Portuguese, when they came, they allowed some people from Europe to come and settle there because it is a huge area. Brazil is 2.5 times bigger in land mass than India. 2.5 times bigger. And it's the 5th largest country in the world. So it's a huge area, but 1/3 of Brazil is covered by the Amazon river basin and the forests. The forests or the jungles of Amazon are quite thick, and there are many areas in the Amazon forest where humans have not entered, even to this day. So the Amazon takes away a big chunk of Brazil, but it's like one of the lungs of the the world. Amazon saves us from so much carbon dioxide and emissions. Now, the rest of Brazil is mainly centered around the ocean, the sea, because the Portuguese came and settled near the sea for the trade and other commerce activities. They used to take things from the Brazil forest and shift it to European markets. Mainly, there is what is called as redwood tree. These trees are huge. They are huge and very good wood. It is beautiful red color, like turmeric, not kunkuma. Okay, so that tree is very popular for furniture, and the Portuguese started cutting it and shipping it to Portugal, Europe, and other countries for their markets. So exploitation of the forest was there, and by around 1530, after 30 years of their coming, they discovered gold in Brazil. So with the discovery of gold, a gold rush started. People from different parts of Europe, mainly Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Lebanon, and Japanese after the World War to save themselves. A huge settlement of Japanese happened in Brazil. Incidentally, Brazil has the second largest population of Japanese after Japan. So many Japanese we have. So all these people came, settled, started mixing there, and now the Brazilian culture is a mixed culture. All these people, the races are mixed, and you can't identify to where these people belong, okay? And then they brought slaves from Africa to work in the sugarcane fields and coffee fields. They started producing sugarcane and coffee in order to supply the European markets. And they were not working, they brought slaves from Africa. They were treated as second-rate citizens without any rights, chained to work like the other countries. And unfortunately, Brazil was the last country in the world to abolish slavery. They abolished slavery in 1888. They were forced to abolish slavery by the other world powers. So this is a brief history of Brazil. So these one group in Argentina and one group in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, they started discussing about Swamiji. And around 1930s, the group from Argentina, they wrote a letter to Prabuddha Bharata. At that time, they did not know the address of Belur Mutt or the details of Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission and all this. So they had Prabuddha Bharata. Somehow they got a copy of Prabuddha Bharata. They saw the address of Prabuddha Bharata and sent a letter to Prabuddha Bharata, requesting the president of the order or the president of Advaita Ashrama to post somebody or to send them a teacher in Vedanta. They did not know about sannyasi, monk or whatever. They just wanted a teacher to teach them Vedanta. So this letter was sent from Prabuddha Bharata to president of the Ramakrishna order. Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj was the president, Mahapurush Maharaj. So he received the letter, and then he sent a letter, reply, that things will work out, they have to wait, the usual reply. He will consider their request. But the group in Argentina, they were very keen, they were very eager. So one group of students from Argentina, they traveled all the way from Argentina to Kolkata, Belur Mutt, to meet Mahapurush Maharaj personally and request him. So they traveled all the way. In those days there were no flights. They had to travel by ships. It used to take 2 months, sometimes 3 months, depending on the weather conditions. So they came to India, met Mahapurush Maharaj and requested him. Mahapurush Maharaj was very kind. He understood that they were very keen to learn Vedanta. And he deputed his own sevak, Swami Vijayanandaji, who was called Pashupati Maharaj. He was from Bangladesh. He was born in Bangladesh. He was a brilliant person, highly qualified. He was a chemical engineer by his educational qualification. He had very good talents. So Mahapurush Maharaj sent him to Argentina. The Swami Vijayanandaji was serving Mahapurush Maharaj personally. And there were so many direct disciples staying in Belur Mutt at that time. Swami Subodhananji was there, Swami Latu Maharaj was there, Turiyananji was there, all these people were there. And so this young Swami Vijayanandaji said, I don't want to leave the holy company of so many direct disciples, the holy precincts of Belur Mutt, and go to such a faraway country. So far, he had to travel 2 months to reach that place. Language was different. So he refused to go from Belur Mutt. Now, he told this to Mahapurush Maharaj. Mahapurush Maharaj understood his sentiments, and this news that Pashupati Maharaj or Vijayanandaji is refusing to go reached Master Mahashaya, M. M was close to Pashupati Maharaj. They knew each other. Pashupati Maharaj used to go to M in Kolkata. So M came to Belur Mutt to meet this Pashupati Maharaj. and said, what is this, Pashupati? I hear that you have refused to go and preach Vedanta. Don't you remember? Swami Vivekananda wanted Vedanta to be the life-giving force in all countries all over the world. So why are you denying? Why are you refusing to go and work for Swamiji? So then this Pashupati Maharaj told his point of view. He said, I don't want to leave Holy Belur Math in the company of direct disciples. I am serving Mahapurush Maharaj. I find joy, great joy in serving him. So then M became angry. He said, that means you are selfish. You are thinking only about your own life and your personal happiness. Don't you want other people to be happy? Don't you think you should serve other people as Swamiji wanted? This is not correct. This attitude is not good. So immediately Pashupati Maharaj realized his mistake and went and told Mahapurush Maharaj that he will do the work of Swamiji in Brazil. So he came, traveled all the way by ship to Brazil, and he reached Brazil in 1932, sometime in 1932. He came, he was well received, he started learning the language, Spanish, and he became a good master of the language. He was a very intelligent person. He could speak on the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta, and interpret the life of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swamiji in a very coherent way, in a very logical way. And he became very popular in Argentina. And by 1952, after 20 years of experience in Argentina, he started visiting Brazil. This group in Brazil, they started writing to him, requesting him to come to Brazil also. So Brazil got him every year for about 1 month or 2 months. And he used to stay in an apartment. The devotees used to hire a small apartment. We still have that house there. So, and then he used to stay there. The house has a beautiful room on the top, on the first floor, with big glass windows. You can see the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean from there. It's a beautiful view. So Maharaj used to stay there and give talks to various groups on the Upanishads, Vedanta, in important auditoriums in the city. Rio was the capital of Brazil at that time. And in his room, there was a veranda. He used to take classes on the Upanishads for a close group of devotees there every morning. So like this, Swami Vijayanandaji's visit brought more people to Vedanta in Rio, and he used to visit Sao Paulo also. He also visited other countries. He visited Mexico, Peru, Uruguay, and then Chile. He went to all these countries also. There are some small groups of devotees there, but the group in Sao Paulo, Rio, and Argentina was solid and well organized. So Swami Vijayanandaji passed away in 1973. He passed away in 1973. He had an assistant Swami was given to Swami Vijayanandaji. His name was Swami Paratparanandaji. Paratparanji was from Karnataka. He was also quite popular. He also learned the language. He had many books, core books, like parts of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, life of Holy Mother Sharda Devi, and the 4 yogas of Swami Vivekananda, translated into Spanish. So this was a great contribution, because through these books it started spreading more to people. And unfortunately Paratpanji had to come back to India after some time. There was a gap for some years. And one Swami Pareshanandaji was sent to Argentina, and he is still there. He is about 80 plus now. He is also popular. He is a nice Swami. And in 1999, the headquarters, Belur Math, sent another Swami exclusively for Brazil. Pareshanji was coming to Brazil also. Argentina and Brazil are two big countries. So he used to travel every year, but there used to be a big gap. So these devotees started writing, please send us one Swami exclusively. We need a person to teach us Vedanta all through the year, not only 1 month in a year, a few classes. So in 1999, Swami Atmajnanandaji was sent to Brazil. Brazil and Argentina centers were separated. So Swami Atmajnandaji is still there. It's 25 years now since he went there. He is from Tamil Nadu and he has learned the Portuguese language very well. He is very popular, affectionate, and devotees like him. So Maharaj is in Sao Paulo. He came to Rio, but he found the group of devotees in Sao Paulo more organized, more well coordinated. So he shifted to Sao Paulo. The group in Rio became secondary, became a subcenter of Sao Paulo. So this went on. We now have 5 centers in Brazil, whereas in Argentina there's only 1 center. The same center continues, Buenos Aires. In Rio, Sao Paulo became the main center and Rio became a subcenter. Another subcenter came up in Curitiba. Curitiba is on the border between Brazil and Argentina. It's on a hill. And the climate is similar to Ooty, cold. Sometimes you have snowfall also. So Curitiba, Rio, and then we have one in Belo Horizonte, which is the mining area where the gold was discovered. So it's full of mines. And because of the mines, there was a big population which came and settled there and started discovering various other metals also. Now we have another center in the capital of Brazil. The capital was shifted from Rio to central Brazil. Rio is on the Atlantic Ocean, near the Atlantic Ocean. So because of the fear of invasions from France and other countries, the king decided to shift the capital to central Brazil, which was more, it was easy to organize things there. So Brasilia, a city which was a planned city, like our Chandigarh, okay, with well-organized roads and structured capital, came up in the center of Brazil. Today also it is the capital of Brazil. Rio became an old capital, and like any other old capital, you have huge, beautiful buildings which are not maintained, and the roads and all that are not so well maintained. But still, it's a beautiful city. Rio is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I'm giving you both sides of the picture, okay? So Rio is on the Atlantic Ocean, as I said. So 5 huge beaches you have, one of the best beaches in the world. The most famous beach, you must have heard about it, Copacabana. It's one of the biggest beaches, most beautiful, and the beaches in Rio are spotlessly clean. You won't find a single piece of paper or dirt. They maintain it so beautifully. The ocean is also calm and people have surfing, various water sports, bathing, all that is there. And then Rio has mountains, huge mountains within the city. A forest, a natural forest within the city. A river within the city. So all the attractions that you can find in other major cities, you find in one city. Forest, mountains, beaches, river, everything is there. Actually, there was a big coffee estate in the city on the sides of a hill. At one time, there was a virus infection and all the coffee plants died. So the king, he was called Pedro I. Pedro is equivalent to English Peter. Okay, in Portuguese it becomes Pedro. So he was the king at that time. He took a bold decision. He had the entire dead coffee trees removed and had natural forest in that area. He planted, the slaves planted all the natural trees from different parts of the world in that area and allowed them to grow naturally. So you have waterfalls and trekking areas. It's a huge tourist attraction. A very thick forest within the city. No wild animals there, fortunately. We don't have elephants, we don't have cheetahs, we don't have tigers, no lions. Brazil, the flora and fauna, or the type of animals and birds that you find there, is completely different from what you find in India. The land mass is so far away. The huge Atlantic Ocean is there on one side and Pacific Ocean on the other side. So none of these animals could go there. So it has remained separate. Evolution has taken its own way there. You have something similar to the leopard, jaguar. It's similar in structure to the leopard, but they are mainly in Amazon and other areas, not in this forest in Rio. We have monkeys, small and big, completely different from what we find in India, beautiful ones. And Brazil has snakes, poisonous ones too. Now, after Swami Nirmalatmanji came there in 1999, he consolidated all these centers, groups, and from one group in Rio and second group in Sao Paulo, the other groups grew, Curitiba, Brasilia, Belo Horizonte. Now we have a very well-knit group of devotees in all these places. We have temples of Sri Ramakrishna, Mother Sharda Devi, Swami Vivekananda. We observe the Jayantis, we observe Guru Purnima, Durga Ashtami, and all these programs in all these centers. So we have some Indians in Rio and Sao Paulo, very few Indians, because they have to learn a language, Portuguese. Whereas in America, it's English and it's easy. And Brazil is still a developing country. It's not as rich as Europe or America. So the returns that they get for their labor is less compared to American Indians. So not many Indians stay there. We have Infosys and TCS and all these companies for software development. Some of them work there for maybe 2 years or 3 years on deputation and then come back to India. So it's a fluctuating Indian population. In Rio, for example, we have around 20 Indian families. I know them. 2 families are from Karnataka, 1 family from Kerala, 2 from Tamil Nadu, a few from Gujarat. So it's a small population, very small population. They come sometimes to the ashram, but the ashrams, all our ashrams are mainly supported by the Brazilian devotees. And every day for the prayer, for our talks, for our events, it's only the Brazilian devotees who come. They are Christians basically, but they may not be practicing Christianity. They come to Vedanta, they adore Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda. They love Vedanta. So this is about the movement there. It is spreading, slowly spreading. From my experience, I can tell you, I've been there for 3 years. After my going there, at least 40 new devotees, Brazilians, have come for the lectures, for the events, and all that. Of these people, they come after 2-3 times, maybe some of them drop. I have at least 20 newcomers who have continued to support. So that's a good number. In 3 years, 20 Brazilian. We have around 65 to 70 regular devotees who come for our events. Sometimes it goes up to 100. Daily for the Arati, evening Arati, we have Arati every day, and talks on Saturday and Sunday. Every day people cannot come because they husband, wife works, everybody is busy. So at the most 1 to 4 people we have every day in the evening for Arati. On Saturdays we have around 15 to 20 devotees, Brazilian, and on Sundays for the lecture 35 to 40. This is a brief introduction to Brazil. One devotee in Brazil is equal to 100 devotees in India, isn't it? Because it's so difficult for them, a different culture, different religion. But for them to admire and come and listen to Vedanta is not such an easy thing. It's like we listening to Christianity, isn't it? So one must appreciate their interest in Vedanta and love for Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother. Many of them have taken initiation, many of them are very committed. The Western people, when they are convinced about one thing, they take to it very seriously. They follow it very strictly. They don't miss even one single lecture. They bring papers, note down, study, ask questions. They are very serious students. So this much about the Brazilian activity. It's a satisfying work. The food habits in Brazil, of course, it's a non-vegetarian Christian country, so they eat beef and pork and all that. In the ashram, it is always vegetarian, and devotees take great care. They prepare only vegetarian stuff in the ashram. Most of our devotees are vegetarians. So when they come, they know I don't eat anything, even eggs or garlic. So they prepare food without garlic, even without onion. They take so much care. They prepare food which is completely vegetarian and come. And then suppose somebody brings biscuits or cakes which has egg. They say, Swami, this has egg, don't eat. So they are so careful. They have great respect for monks and swamis because of the Christian tradition, the Catholic tradition. There are fathers, padris, and so they know about the purity of monkhood, sannyasis. That is one thing. And dress is all westernized. The culture is completely westernized. They have great respect for Indian tradition, Indian spiritual tradition. When I went, I used to ask them, why do you like India? What do you appreciate about India? So most of the youngsters, they would readily say, the first thing that they would say is India has a rich tradition, thousands of years. Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, so long back, thousands of years ago, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 years ago, these people could think, the Indians could think about such universal ideas, such wonderful ideas which are relevant even to this day. So this, they say, we don't have such a history. The Portuguese came there only in 1500, hardly 500 years of history. So they say we don't have such a history of which we can be proud about. We don't have masters or spiritual saints who defined the spiritual culture of the country. India is so rich with so many saints, so many great men were born in India, men and women. So they feel we don't have this rich culture. Therefore, they admire Indian culture and Indian spiritual tradition. Many of them do visit India. In India, Vrindavan is quite popular. ISKCON is there to popularize Vrindavan. Rishikesh is popular. Kashi, Banaras is also popular. Agra, of course, for a different purpose. Taj Mahal is popular. So these are the attractions in India. They come sometimes to visit all this. Of course, those who are connected with the Ramakrishna movement, Belur Math, Jairamati, Kamarpukur. Now, there are some beautiful incidents that have happened with regard to the Ramakrishna movement in Brazil. Swami Vijayanandaji was a man with some special powers which Swami Brahmanandaji had blessed him with. He had some special insight. He could read the minds of people and he could predict things also. So he was very popular. People had great respect for him. There's a beautiful incident about him. I think I'm supposed to speak till 6:30? Till what time? Huh? 6:45. There's enough time. So there was one disciple of Swami Vijayanandaji who is still alive. He is 92 years, Luis Antonio. He was the captain of a ship. This ship belonged to the biggest company, petrol company in Brazil. The name of the company is Petrobras. They export petrol to other countries. So now this man, Louis, was a captain in one of the ships by Petrobras, and he somehow came to Swami Vijayanandaji and became his disciple. One day, Swami Vijayanandaji, when there were so many other devotees in his room, I told you, he used to take classes in the morning, he suddenly asked a question. Louis, yes, Swami, when are you going to India? He said, Swami, I work for Petrobras. India does not have petrol. India does not export petrol or import petrol. So, there is no chance of my going to India. Oh, is that so? Okay. He kept quiet. The next year, when he visited Rio, again the same question in front of so many people. So this man thought, oh, Vijayanandaji is such a brilliant Swami, he has such a wonderful memory, why is he asking me the same question again? Did he forget? I gave him such a nice explanation last time, so why is he asking me the same question again? He became a little upset and said, no, Swami, there is no chance of my going to India. India does not have petrol, he said. Oh, is that so? He said. And he passed away in 1973. After he passed away, after about 2 years, one day in the evening, this Luis Antonio returned from a big trip to supply petrol to some other European countries and all that, came back after many days, after almost a month, back to his home, after a long trip. And then suddenly his phone rang, when he had just reached home. And the phone rang and the company, one officer from the company was calling him, Mr. Captain, we want to talk to you, it's an urgent message. Then Louis said, yes, please tell me. So the person from the company said, we have an important mission for you, an urgent mission. We know you have just returned from a very difficult trip. We know you are tired, but we have selected you for this special mission. I said, what is this? I said, you see, it's not the work, it is the destination that is very long, very difficult. I said, where? And that person said, India. I said, oh, India? And what do I have to do? He said, we are going to convert your ship from a tanker to a wheat-taking ship. We want to give wheat to India. So, Swami Vijayanandaji knew that this man was going to India. So he tells this every day. Whenever he comes, he says, oh, my Guru, he goes on saying. So then when he took the ship, the modified ship, it had to go via Cape Town, South Africa, to reach Bombay. When it came to Cape Town, something happened and the ship had to be repaired. They did some repair in Cape Town and then reached Bombay. There was a huge wait time for the ship and for the repairs. So he had to spend almost 2 months in Bombay. Using all these 2 months, he traveled all over India and enjoyed Belur Math, Kamarpukur. He came up to Kanyakumari, Himalayas. So that was the blessing of his Guru. Swami Vijayanandaji initiated many people in different parts of South America, and he gave brahmacharya mantras, celibacy mantras, to 5 people. Of them was one lady who was like a sannyasini. She did not marry, she lived a very pure life. The other 4 were men. So this lady was a wonderful lady, very dedicated to Vedanta and her Guru, very devoted to her Guru. When Vijayanandaji passed away, she wrote a will. She had 2 small apartments. So she wrote a will before her passing away. My 2 apartments will be sold and a permanent center of Vedanta will be started in Rio. So even before she passed away, she shifted to another disciple's house, another doctor, and said, "You please sell the apartments, and before I die, I want to see a center." So the 2 apartments were sold, and with the money that came, they purchased a house, an independent house where I stay now, and which is the center, Centro Ramakrishna Vedanta. So because of the kindness and her dedication, we have a beautiful center in Rio now. It is because of this lady. So now, this house where we have the center was built in 1865, even when Sri Ramakrishna was alive. 1865. It was built for one of the ministers in the king's cabinet. So it is a big house. The built-in area is about 6,000 square feet, independent house. Below we have a temple, we have a big hall which works as a temple. We have 3 rooms for monks, an office, and a waiting area. And the same area above, we have a huge hall where we conduct the lectures. We have a kitchen, a small dining hall, and 3 toilets. So this is the area. We have a parking space of about 6 cars and a small garden in the front and on the side. We have a bilva tree, which this Louis took all the way from India. It's a beautiful tree. And we have Karabevin Gida, Karabevin Mara, Karipata, beautiful tree, big tree. Of course, lot of flowers and everything. This center, this building, I told you was built in 1865. The walls, like old construction, are very huge, 2 feet across. It's a stone building, and there was no cement in those days. So they used mud with whale oil, Timingalada enne, for the binding. So the walls are thick, and it retains the heat in cold and cold in summers. It's very cool inside the building. An old building, it's a heritage structure, so requires maintenance, regular maintenance, and everything is taken care of by the devotees. So this is the center in Rio. It is on the top of a small hillock, which is a very popular place, Santa Teresa. You can see it on Google. If you search in Google, you will get it. It was a place for artists and those who were involved with music and theater and film. It was the place of culture. It was a center of culture in the capital's time. Now, of course, things have moved to Brasilia, but it's a beautiful place on the top of a hill. The ocean or beach is about 20 minutes drive from the ashram. By walk, there is another small beach which is hardly 10 minutes. You can just walk to the beach. So this is about Rio. And there are 2 beautiful incidents connected with the work in Brazil. I'll just tell them in brief. One is in Sao Paulo, the center, one day in the evening, 2 men walked in. They were going by the road, they saw Center Vedanta. They wanted to know what the center is, what Vedanta is. They entered the ashrama. And as soon as they entered, they saw a beautiful picture of Holy Mother Sharda Devi. Not this picture, not this pose, the usual pose, Mother seated. So they have a big picture on the wall. So one person stood in front of the picture, became emotional and started crying. So the Swami saw this person crying, emotional, and asked him, please sit down, told him, please sit down and tell us, why are you crying? What happened? What is the connection? Do you know her? So then this man said, she saved my life. And then the Swami asked, please tell us what happened. This man, a Jew, when he was just 8-year-old, small boy. His parents were living in Egypt, Cairo. They were working there. This boy was very small. This was somewhere in the 1920s. And this boy was infected by typhoid. In those days, there was no antibiotics. There was no medicine for typhoid. All that they did was isolate the patient and allow to die. If they get cured, yes, they would come back. So this was the only treatment that was known. Give some fluids and this and that and allow the person to recover by immunity or whatever. So this boy, small boy, innocent boy, developed typhoid. The mother came and explained to him and said, there is no medicine for this disease, my boy. All that you can do is pray. She kept a small image of Mother Mary by the side of his bed and said, look at this image and pray. We can't do anything more. 2 days, 3 days, the fever became quite high. So the family expected maybe in another 1 day or 2 days the child will die. Suddenly, on the 4th day, from that image, one lady came out. She was wearing white clothes. He did not recognize her. He did not know from which country, from which culture she came. She looked different, but she was so full of motherly kindness and love. She came near him, put her hand on his head, and put something in his mouth and said, don't worry, you will become all right. So this boy started recovering. Immediately after that, he became well. In a few days, he was completely back to health. He continued his education and all that. His parents shifted from there to Sao Paulo for some employment. This boy got educated, got a job, married, had children, all that, settled. But he never forgot the face of that lady who saved his life. He was going on searching everywhere. Who is this person? He never found a picture of Holy Mother in any place. So he was still searching. When he came to our Sao Paulo center, he was almost 60 years. For all these years, he was searching. And then he said, this is the person who came and saved my life. So he used to come regularly to our Sao Paulo ashram. And our previous president Maharaj, Swami Atmajnanandaji Maharaj, when he came to Brazil in 2000, he went to their house, met this person. This person was very sick at that time. He was almost passing away. But after a few days, he passed away. Maharaj met him. So this is one beautiful incident which is connected to Brazil. Another beautiful incident is there was one person, journalist by name Arlindo, in that Belo Horizonte area, mining area. One day in the morning, he was a young lad. One day in the morning, he was sitting outside his house. There was a small pond. He took his bath and having sun bath in the garden. Suddenly, a person came up from the water. He was wearing, again, Indian kavi or sannyasi. This man does not know who is a sannyasi or what it is, Gerua color. He just thought, strange looking person. And then that person in the vision said, do something for the poor. Help the poor people. So this man was confused. He thought it's a hallucination, something with his mind. And he had a spiritist master, a master who deals with these mediums and all this. So he went to him and asked him, you see, this thing happened today in the morning in my house. Is this true? Or am I imagining things? Can you tell me whether I have to obey these instructions? That spiritist master thought for some time, meditated for some time, and said, yes, this is a true vision. It will do you good. Follow the instructions. So now this man came back home, contacted some 3-4 poor children who were staying near his house, started giving them tuitions in the evening on mathematics, English, this, that, whatever he knew. After some 3-4 days, again he had a vision. The same person came in a vision and said, I am not satisfied with what you are doing. I want you to do it on a big scale. So this man again had a doubt. I am a poor person with ordinary means. How can I do things on a big scale? I don't have the capacity. He went back to his master and said, you see, again this person comes and tells me like this, what do I do? So that person said, no, do it. It is a true vision. So then he came back, told his friends, told his other people, and tried to gather a crowd. Slowly a group of people came together. So he started an organization. He named the organization Mission Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna Mission. Okay, I will tell you how he came to know the name of Ramakrishna. So there was another Ramakrishna Mission in Brazil going parallel to our Ramakrishna Mission. We did not know about it. So this man purchased a big plot of land with his friends and started an institution, a school, hostel with vocational training in carpentry, printing, so many things, automobile repair, weaving, music, anything and everything. So many types of occupations. So the number of students increased, boys and girls, 100, 200, 300, 400 came up to 1,000. And then there was lack of water. There was no water. So the government gave a notice saying the hostel has to be closed because there was no water, enough water for the students. Somebody had complained. And he became worried again. Again, he had a vision. So the person said, why are you worried? He showed a small plot of a place in his area and said, you dig here, you will get enough water. So this man contacted a borewell company and started trying for water. They went down for some time and then found a big stone. They came to a stone. So again the company, the borewell people said, no, we have got a stone, there is no water. It's a wrong decision you made. Again, they had a vision. And that person said, no, go down the stone, you will get plenty of water. So he requested and then they had enough water. Even now, there is such a beautiful institution. I've gone there 2 times. It's a beautiful institution. Thousands of students study. And now various companies, big companies, automobile industry and other industries are sponsoring this institution. It's a huge institution. Arlindo has passed away. Later on he was called Arlindananda. And he was a Christian. And he has built a beautiful shrine in the center place. A shrine with this picture of Sri Ramakrishna in the center. Exactly the same picture. Big picture of Ramakrishna with Buddha, Jesus and all these other great people on the walls. It's like any other shrine. So they come there, assemble there, have their reading of Bible, this, that. And the students study various things there. And the companies sponsor, education is free, food is free, hostel is free, everything is free. So the trained students go and get jobs in the various companies. So this person, Arlindo, one friend of his from Portugal sent him a book as a Christmas gift, The Life of Ramakrishna. He started reading that book and he found the pictures of Ramakrishna. That is how he came to know about Ramakrishna. And in that book, he found a picture of Swami Brahmananda. Immediately he identified that Swami Brahmananda was coming to him again and again and asking him to do service. So that is how Brahmanandaji has inspired service activity in Brazil. And Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sharda Devi, all these people have blessed that place. So the devotees are so affectionate towards Sri Ramakrishna. They consider Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother as their own. They have great respect for India and the Holy Tribe. This much about Brazil. There is much more, but due to shortage of time. Thank you for giving me patient hearing. I am grateful to Maharaj for giving me this opportunity to share a few ideas with you.